Good evening. We got Roshaiy on the line. Uh, Hopefully, she's going to give us some good advice and some good information in reference to financial literacy. How you doing, Roshaiy?
I'm doing amazing. And yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm glad we finally was able to link up.
Yes.
I know it's been kind of hectic. So how's everything?
Everything is doing good. I just got home not too long ago from an appointment, so I'm ready to go. I'm still in uh, my go mode right now.
So what are we going to consider you? Financial guru, uh,
Uh,
financial literacy teacher?
I'm not a guru yet, but I am getting there. I definitely do try to help people get into the right position and making sure that their finances are in place and also the literacy as well.
Okay, so where you want to start with explaining exactly what you do in some of the areas you cover?
Okay, so I can just kind of give a I wouldn't say a background, but just kind of talk about what I do full time on a daily basis. So basically, what I do is that I talk to families. First, I started off with family and friends, talking to them about their financial literacy, talking to them basically about what banks and other insurance companies don't tell us about. Because if they did talk to us and tell us every ins and out of everything, then they wouldn't be making any money. And it's not fair that we don't know that information, and that we're staying in this generational curse that we're in, and not being able to keep our wealth going from generation to generation.
So so you would be able, as what's going on, like nowadays with everything, you're trying to help us as individuals close the wealth gap. How we can close it as individuals.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Excuse me for
Mhm.
cutting you off. You can
No,
finish.
no, no, you're fine. You're fine. But
Okay.
yeah, so that's pretty much what I do. And then, like, I can't talk to every person in every community. So what I try to do is sit down with different people, and see if they would be interested in, as well as passing the information on to people that I don't know, because I don't know everybody. And like I said, I can't get to everyone. So I just try to educate them and then get them to educate and then keep the education going.
So give us a basis. Like where do we start? Let's say Exhibit A, like an individual working day to day, check to check. They don't feel like they have the money to invest, or they're not really thinking about 401k. Where would you suggest they start?
What I would suggest is to sit down and, because I used to be in that trap where I was working paycheck to paycheck, and I felt like, where's all my money going? So what I did even before I started doing what I was doing was that I just sat down, and for about a month, I sat down and wrote down everything that I was spending from bills when I go out to eat or shopping or something like that. I would just sit down and see where my money was going. Then I was like, okay, I can cut this out because I really don't need it. I just spend it because I have the money in my account, which is not going to get you very far. And then thinking about saving as well. Now, if you can't personally do that yourself, like if you're not that disciplined, then what I would do is reach out to a financial coach or financial advisor. You definitely can reach out to me, and I can definitely sit down and help you put in place what I would call a financial game plan. And then we can go from there.
I know it's a lot of times, unfortunately, that a lot of when people pass, you see a lot of people have to have GoFundmes
Mm,
for the services.
yes.
And I'm quite sure doing what you do, that's something you're trying to prevent.
Yes, I am. Very much so. Uh, I don't like people. When I see that on Facebook, I kind of, not kind of, I cringe. I'm like, someone needed to have sat down with them and talked to them to get them in the right program, because everyone knows that they do need to have life insurance, but they just don't know the ins and outs on how they work. And there's two different types of life insurance. There's cash value, and then there's term. My opinion and what I do every day, I would definitely stay away from whole life or cash value, because if you actually knew how it worked, you would probably be like, why would someone even want to sell someone that? Um, and I can kind of tell you why, because they make a lot of money out of that doing the whole life. So I would definitely, if I know people don't want to read their life insurance policies because it's wordy, it give you a headache, but you need to know what you're paying for, because it doesn't make sense to have something, you're paying for it, and you don't know how it works. And then when you find out how it really works, you might want to call that agent back and say, why did you sell me this?
Really?
Yes.
It's that bad?
Yes, it is. And I'm not
So
saying that because I do sell, I do term. I I know this because of just reading policies of people that I've sat down with. Is yeah, whole life, read your
so
policy.
with a person established, okay, individual comes to you, they work check by check. They had, I'm quite sure you dealt with these cases. They had a school loan from back in the day, so
Mhm.
their credit is like all out of whack. They basically don't might have a car payment that's too high, more than their means, and
Mhm.
and basically, if you look at their financial record, they're basically robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
How would they be able? Because a lot of times we're stubborn, and when we come to people, how would they be able to just stop what they're doing,
Mhm.
take a breath, and allow you to explain a better picture for themselves?
So I do have a program that I do use to help people come up with a financial independence date or a debt free date, to kind of look at their finances and
You froze for a second, Roshaiy. Hold up. She froze, everyone. Just bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. She froze. Just 1 second. She'll get back. I'll get her back on the line. Just 1 second. 1 second. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, I see it's a couple people that's watching. Rochelle is a financial person. Here she comes. She's back. Okay, you back.
yes,
That's
yes.
cool.
Sorry about that.
I got
Um,
one question for you already. Yeah,
yes.
it's a good friend of mine too.
Okay.
He said, "How does it really work?" Because Kevin, I can give you her number and y'all can
Mhm.
talk privately. But
Yes.
he's probably just asking for like what I said, a baseline, a start. I know he's a homeowner, and I know
Okay.
he's thinking about his future. I mean,
Yes.
he's thinking about his short term and long term future. We're really good friends, so
That's
I know
great.
I would be correct with saying that. So what were you saying? Excuse me before we froze
No,
up.
no, no. So basically, we would just sit down, write out everything that you pay, that you spend. And then, like I said, I have a program where I can input the information to get the date that you want to be debt free.
Okay,
Um, and then we would put some other things in place to make sure that your income is protected, and also that your family is protected as well. And then we have other type of savings and investments that we can talk about, just to ensure that your family can at least maintain their current lifestyle, if God forbid anything did happen.
okay. That sounds like a good baseline. I remember one time you had posted on the jobs page about the we were talking about prior about the us being overworked, and
Yes.
How do you feel about that? Like, because I know that's finance is what you do, and a lot of us we get so caught up with our jobs where, oh, I gotta work, I gotta work, I gotta work, not
Mhm.
realizing something happened to you. Your job is going to replace you tomorrow.
Oh yes, most
They might
definitely.
miss you. You might get some flowers from some coworkers, but they're gonna have somebody to do exactly what you do by tomorrow.
Oh, that's most definitely true. What we and when I say we, because my sister and I are doing this business together, along with my brother-in-law, and what we say is that you should be fighting for your last name, not for
Mm,
whomever is the CEO of your company, making them wealthy. What we want to do is fight for our last name and make sure that we're stone wealthy and not the next guy, because we put in 40, 50 years of work, and then when we leave, what do we have to show for that? Like nothing. And then when, say, they want to replace you, they can replace you with probably two young kids that just got out of college for half of what they're paying you, and they'll have no problem in letting you go. Like, so why put in all that sweat equity and put all of that time into fighting for them and making them rich and making them wealthy, and then your family is left with nothing? Like, we need to start thinking about generational wealth, because I want my great grands, great grands to be like, you know what? Great grandma Roshaiy, she was the best because she left us this. Or to say, like in a community, if I did like a scholarship or foundation for something for them to remember me by, like, because I'm helping out the community. And we don't think of that as a community. You have people coming from overseas coming over here with nothing, and they are wealthy, and we've been here for years,
yeah.
and we have nothing to show for that. Like,
Mm.
to me, I don't
Some
like that.
sometimes we blame a lot of things on other things except our own ignorance. I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you know anything about being able to protect your 401k?
I do not personally. I get most of my information from actually my sister, because right now she's fully licensed as far as she has investment license. I'm in the process of getting fully licensed. So anything with the 401k like that, I would definitely pass that on to my sister, and she would answer those questions for me.
So give us some advice. You got all this information. You know, I know you've been on it. You've been on it since we met through Miss Martin, and I appreciate it.
Yes.
I'm glad that you share a lot to the page. I just think that a lot of times we're used to like I said, we're used to the 9 and 5 going to work. Our grandparents, they were a generation of workers. They may have worked
Hmm.
some it, but they did a lot of things by their hand. Some of them,
Hmm.
even before during the Great Migration, they invested. Like, it was a big thing in the '70s for your family to buy that first house.
Yes.
And
Yes.
a lot of families I know lost that first house that was in their families due to ignorance and some other things.
Hmm.
But it's like I can name you 20 offhand if I wanted to. Like, yo, our family lost the house from from
Hmm.
from bad investments, and then in this climate, a lot of times people feel more secure with a job than investments. What do
Mm.
you?
Well, on the whole feeling secure about a job, there's nothing secure about a job at all. And I'm not saying that again because I'm doing what I'm doing, because I used to work at a job, what we call just over broke. It's temporary, and like I said before, they can definitely let you go at any point in time. So I would always say to people, because I've always been the type of person that I want to have multiple streams of income, because I never know when that job is going to say, Roshaiy, bye, we'll see you later, or we have to let you go or something like that. And you can't just put everything into that job. Like, I can't stress that enough. And if anyone does go onto my page, you'll definitely see that I'm not an advocate for you getting a job. I mean, if that's what you have to do at the time, I get it, but don't let that be the end all be all. You need to definitely find out something to fight for your last name
Okay.
Nothing else. You don't want to fight for you. What I'm doing right now is for my kids. I have an 18-year-old and also a 2-year-old, and I don't want my 2-year-old ever to have to work for anybody at all, ever in his life. My 18-year-old, I started doing this a little bit late in the game, so I don't want him to work for anyone as long, I mean, for a long period of time.
Okay.
I would just advise anyone, if they can get into something that's going to help them fight for their last name, help them get out of this generational curse that we're in. This just, it really bothers me that we as a people just can't work together. Like, it's always about self, 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 self. No, you need to share this information, and I'm glad that you're doing, what you're doing, because you are sharing the information with everyone. Because what purpose does it serve to hold that information for yourself?
You know what it is that I myself just started thinking about it within the last 18 months, and when you got majority of economists, even though they all have different theories,
Hmm.
when you got them all saying by 2030
Hmm.
black wealth is basically going to be zero, then you start realizing. But a lot of times in our communities, what we first think is, we think of the Oprahs, we think of the Jay-Z's. We have gotten caught up, in my personal opinion, with pocket watching the celebrities. And in reality is that we are broke. And a lot of us, the money that we spend, like, I'm a coffee drinker, so I'm saying myself, the money that I may spend on coffee per week could be an
Right.
investment. Even
Yeah.
in coffee beans, like, I could be looking at the stock market at coffee beans and be like, I'm gonna put my some money on Wild Valdez coffee beans.
Right.
Or so when people go out every weekend and spend and don't realize,
Yeah.
like, okay, why should I use this a credit card? If I have a credit card, why should I use a credit card instead of cash? What am I doing? What's the difference? A person may use a credit card at a store where they're not getting no bonus points back and so forth and so on. And then they may be like, oh, end of the year, I done spent $50,000 using a credit card and I don't have no bonus points when I could have used my bonus points. So I fly a lot or
Right.
whatever. I know some people that really fly for free.
Yeah.
They fly that much and they fly for free. So
So, and there's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up about the bank. So, I don't know if most people know, but when you say, put money into the bank or in a savings or something like that, what the banks do is that they use that money that you put into your savings or whatever, um, to help service someone else's loan. And it might be be you, in a sense, like for an auto loan or a home loan. They secure those loans by making that homeowner, say if it's for an auto loan and it's at 10%, they're giving you 3% or less on a return on your savings, but charging the next person 10% or higher on an auto loan. So they're making say it's 10%, they're making 7% off of them giving you less than 3% or giving you 3%. But we're putting all our money into these savings accounts that's doing nothing for us, but the bank just saying, okay, well, let me just take that money that you put in and help service a loan for somebody else, and let me charge them whatever I want to charge them higher than the 3%, but you're only getting 3% or less back. Like, some of that stuff, like, they're not going to tell you that. They just want you to open up a savings account in their bank and just keep opening savings account. No, that's backwards. When you can have like a mutual fund or an Roth IRA, and that money is getting a 9 to 12% rate of return. Like,
what do you say about a different? Is there a difference between a bank and a credit union?
um, I I mean, I don't know too much about. There is differences in them. They're still financial institutions, but there are differences between um a credit union and how they are able to give loans because their money is secured by, it's not by the FDIC, it's a credit union. I can't think of the name off the top of my head at the moment, but they do have different way that they do loans and stuff like that and how they service their customers. So there are differences. I've usually been told or seen that if you want to get like a loan, like an auto loan or a home loan, to be a part of a federal credit union. That's what
I
I've come across.
I suggest a question for you. How much would you suggest people save to buy a home in New Jersey?
Cool. um I wouldn't be able to say a dollar amount. However, I would say look at the area that you're in, that you're wanting to purchase a home, because we all know that New Jersey taxes are quite high.
Yeah, this is preferably in Union. It's preferably in Union County too, and it's pretty high. I know
Yes.
Union and Essex right now, and yeah, those two counties are like really high.
I would only thing I would suggest is just to start where you're comfortable at, and at least get into the habit of saving. Because if you've never saved before, and then all of a sudden you're saving $1,000, you might, go in shock or something like that because you've never saved before. So I would say just start at a comfortable amount for you and then move it up. I wouldn't just, not unless you're trying to buy the home like in the next 2 months or something, but I would start definitely at a comfortable amount for you.
I'm gonna ask you a question about banks, and I know we where you live at, Roshaiy? What area, if you don't mind me asking? What county?
I'm in Camden County.
Oh, okay, so you down that way. So
Yes,
I know
I'm.
a lot of people always say we should go to our local banks to basically to get loans to banking because those banks generally are supposed to reinvest back in that area. Do you know
Mhm.
that to be true?
I don't to know if that's
Okay.
true or not. So I don't want to say any false information. So I don't know if that's true or not. But that's
Okay.
a good question. Now I'm gonna do some research on that one
So
and
so
see.
so being that you're from down that way, how's down that way? A lot of North Jerseyans would consider that more like a Philly area. Uh, how's it? I know Camden is it's on the rise, so to say. It's a lot better, and I'm quite sure investing down there would be a risk and a reward if you can get to that
Yeah.
waterfront.
Yeah, if you can, because they are starting to uh rebuild down there slowly but surely. I am from North Jersey, so
Okay.
but I just migrated down here. Um, but yeah, but they are. I would just say like it's any city because they have their good and they have their bad, but they are trying to make it better. I will say that.
Would you suggest like when the cities have like all these like opportunity zones, urban renewals, do you think that we would be smart to work with them? I know a lot of people have been saying that opportunity zones are not good for minorities, and I don't know much about them myself.
Mhm.
So, do you think those would be good to be dealing with opportunity zones?
Um, I would say just do your research. Just like with anything, I would just say take a look at it and see what the area has to offer. Because if it doesn't have anything to offer at the moment, then you're going to be playing kind of that waiting game, I guess, for it to get better. So I would just do your research, just not jump right into it.
All right, how did this beautiful audience that we have get in touch with Roche?
So you guys can go onto my Facebook page and message me because it is public page. Because I do want people to see what I'm doing and um, just getting some information. So as you see, that's how my name is on my Facebook page, Roshaiy Howard. Also, you guys can call me or text me. I mean, I'm open to my number's probably out there to everybody. But you can call me. My number is 336-210-4137. I have no problem anybody calling and texting me. If I don't respond to you right away, that just means I'm busy building my empire, because that's what I'm doing every day. So I'm building my empire, because in about 5 years, I'm gonna be one of the first millionaires in my family. My sister and I are both working towards that. So uh, come see us in 5 years. We'll be millionaires.
Yeah, my friend Kevin was like, yeah, years ago, houses down in Camden was like 30K, but to invest down there was a risk.
Yes.
Well, you know, it's funny because I do know about the waterfront area, and it's like
Hmm.
really getting built up
It is.
with the aquarium and stuff like that. It's like it's thriving. It's probably gonna work itself this way back in towards Camden. I know Lawnside is down that way somewhere. Lawnside is a
It is.
thriving community, and actually, you brought up the FDIC. A lot of the descendants of people in Lawnside is the reason why FDIC started because they were part of the Freeman Bank,
Okay.
and then they lost a lot of money because
That's
it wasn't insured, unfortunately.
that's
Uh, I'm glad you could join us. I'm glad you gave us
Thank
some of your
you.
time, and
Yes.
I
But you
really
guys,
appreciate it.
thank you for allowing me to be on here. And if you guys definitely have any other questions that I may not have answered, or I said something that kind of sparked a question, definitely send me a message. You can text me, call me, message me. However, if you want to send a pigeon my way, that's definitely fine. I'm open to anything. And then also, if you guys are interested in seeing how you can be a part of the generational wealth and ending this curse, definitely let me know, and I can point you in the right direction on how you can be a part of that.
Oh, my friend Kevin got one more question for you. Now he's on it right now. We don't spark something. We talk about this a lot. He said, "Are you looking for investors?"
uh, we you can message me on that one.
Kevin, you can message him for that one.
Yes, we will talk about that offline. But yes, but definitely okay, Kevin. Hey,
Yeah, he on it. He on it. He he's good. He's going the right direction.
yes, he is, Kevin. All right,
But I'm like I said, I'm glad you could join, and we'll keep in
thank you.
touch. All right.
Yes, thank you very much. You have a good night.